In the previous video, we saw how we can do different kinds of calculations and computations using the value that is stored in your variable. So we did that with the help of an operator known as arithmetic operator. Now, we also spoke about what are the other two kinds of operators in programming that we generally use. So those were your comparison operator and your logical operators. So the next set of operators that we'll be learning about will be your comparison operators and your logical operators. So what are comparison operators? Comparison operators are used generally to compare two things. Let's say you want to compare if 1 is less than 2. So we use the lesser than symbol. If you want to check if 2 is greater than 1, you use the greater than symbol. If you want to check if 1 is equal to 1, you use the equals to symbol, right? So if you want to check where all these operators are, if you just go to your logic, if you just drop down from there, you can see all the comparison operators over here. So in today's video, we'll be discussing what are comparison operators, right? Now, in order to use comparison operators, if you can see, you can use it with a block known as if. Right. So in today's class, we'll be discussing what is your if conditions or the concept of branching. So in order to use your comparison operators, we need to know the concept of branching. Now, branching is one of the most important concepts in programming that you will be learning. So what is branching, or what is your conditions or if conditions? Basically, your if conditions are conditional statements that you use in order to do a certain kind of actions. Basically, in order to do a certain kind of actions, you need to satisfy a certain condition. Let's say that the condition is if it is raining outside. Okay, that is the condition. And let's say the action would be to not go out, right? So the first set of condition is if it is raining out. Okay, this is the first condition. Now, this not going out is the action, right? So you have a condition which says if it is raining out, you will not go out. Similarly, now what is the opposite of this? So an opposite of this would be an else. So if it say else, you would go out, right? So you have a if condition and you have a else condition, right? So you have an if, and which is the opposite would be an else, right? So your condition and you have an action, right? So this is what your branching concepts will be. So now let's try to use your variable and see how you can make this work. Let's say you want to select, let's create a variable and store. If you set a variable to a value, let's say 3, and your basic condition would be to check if this I that is stored inside 3, let's say if you're checking if this I is greater than, let's say 1, right? In this case, if the value is greater than 1, so you'll just say that, hey, just print it is correct. Right? See, as you can see that when you checked if I is greater than 1, since it is true, it says it is correct. Similarly, if you want to create another block for which you want to say it is incorrect, if you want to check if it is incorrect or not, so you can just click on the star over here and then you can choose for an else, right? So you can click on an else and you can just go and say print it is not correct. Right? Now, if you want to change it and check if they're not correct, there you go. See, because I is less than 1, it is not less than 1, right? Because 3 is not less than 1, it's going to come to this statement, to the else statement. The flow of your command will come to your else. Yeah. Similarly, if you want to check another condition, if you don't want your else and if you want another condition that needs to be checked, in that case, you'll be using something known as your else if, right? So you can just get this, you can get rid of this. There you go. So if you want to check another extra condition that you have, let's say you want to check for, if, else if, get rid of this. You want to check if I is, if your I is equal to, let's say 1, if you want to check for that condition, if you want to check if I is equal to 3. Okay, let's check if it is 3. Then you will say print it is equal to 3. It is equal to 3, right? So you have a condition, I equals y is less than 1, then you say it's correct. If I is equal to, say, you'll say this is equal to 3. If you want an extra else, you can just add for an extra else as well, where, there you go. So you have an additional else as well. You can have an else over here. You can have an else if and an else. So if you click on this, so you have your else if, which is checking for if I is equal to 3, then you will say print equal. Else will be the complete opposite of all of these, right? Else you will say it is incorrect. Anywhere, any print statement that you want to give. Okay, so now you're checking if set I equals 3, you set your I to your variable to 3. Then if your I is less than 1, it is going to say it is correct. Now it is not, this statement doesn't work, right? Because 3 is not less than 1. Then it comes to your else if to check. Yes, so I is equal to C, that is why it is saying it is equal to 3. Now, if you change, if it's neither of these two, right, then the flow statement comes to your else. It's going to say it is incorrect, right? So this is your flow of conditional statements or branching. See, it looks like a branch also, right? So your branching basically deals with if conditions and else if conditions, right? And in order to do that, we'll be using our comparison operators to compare, right? So this is how we deal with numbers. If you want to use numbers and your conditional statements to do compare two things, you can use your numbers as well. Now, for instance, now if you want to check, if you want to make certain movements, let's say if you press a key, if you go to your condition to logic, you'll see that there is an option to check if a key is pressed or not, right? Let's say you want to make certain movements using your keys, right? So let's say the program would be, if you press the up arrow key, the sprite or the character is supposed to move up, or if you press the down arrow key, the character is supposed to move down, right? So in order to do that, we can just, now you don't need your variables over here, you can just get rid of your variables and you can get rid of the blocks. We'll bring a new set of blocks. Now your logic will be if your key is pressed, right? You're going to use your key is pressed, right? So this is the logic that you're going to use. If your key is pressed, then you're going to make sure that, let's say the action would be to move the character up. Okay, let's say that this is the logic that you want to try. Now to implement this, what we're going to use, we're going to go to behaviors, and in order to start the sprite, we need to start the sprite at the beginning. So you need to start at the beginning. Okay, before that, what do you do? Sequencing. This is where sequencing comes into play. Now you need a character, right? So you bring the character, you draw the character first, you need a character, and then you're going to say when the sprite is about to begin, that's where you will add your behavior, right? So this is the behavior section where you can create the behavior that you want to do, or you want to create the action that you want to do. So let's say you click on behavior. So when the sprite is starting, it's saying do something. Now, what do you want it to do, right? When the sprite starts, let's say you're going to check if the key is pressed, if the let's say the up arrow on your keyboard, if the up arrow key is pressed, what do you want to do? You want to move. Let's say you want to move the sprite in the north direction, in the north, right? So this is the condition as of now that we're going to use. So you can name your behavior as move. Let's say move the sprite, move the sprite. Okay, and then you can close it. Now, when the sprite begins, you can just go to your behaviors and then you can click on your move. There you go. So the move, what we created, you click it over here, you run the program. There you go. I'm pressing the up arrow key, it's moving up. Now, similarly, if you want to make it move down, you can just go back to your behaviors again. Just click on edit for your move. Now you can add your multiple blocks over here where you can add another if condition to make it move downwards. You can make it move to the side, to the left, to the right. So you can take an exercise, you can go ahead and take this as an exercise to make the character move to downwards, to the left and to the right as well.